meeting to order. Ask you to please stand for the invocation. Remain standing for the pledge to the flag. Father, again, we thank you for this another opportunity to do the business of this great county. We ask for your wisdom in all things that we deliberate and your guidance in all decisions that are made. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, first item, consideration of a resolution to approve the agenda. And I will tell you that in your packets are two other minutes that we need to address other than the August 4th rec workshop and the commissioner meeting that's listed on the agenda. So I want to add August 13th and August 14th minutes to be approved. That's all I've got. Any other changes, corrections, additions?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. There is one other under the executive session section. We'll also be approving the August 14th meeting minutes. August 13th is listed on the agenda as well as August 4th. We need to add August 14th.
Gotcha.
13th and 14th.
14th. We just need to add 14. 13 is already done.
I see.
All right. So changes to the executive session minutes we'll deal with and to the other minutes. Any changes or corrections? Motion?
Motion to approve. Put it in August 13th and 14th next session.
Okay. Second. I have a motion by Commissioner Floyd, a second by Commissioner Loper to approve the agenda with the changes noted previously with the adding those other minutes. All right. Next item is the consideration to approve the minutes. Let's take these because I think there's some discrepancies on some of them, so let's take these, please, separately. First, the minutes for the August 4th, 2015 recreation workshop. Any changes or corrections? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 4th workshop minutes.
I'll second.
Motion by. I forgot your name.
George?
Phil. And you seconded it here?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Got to get my head screwed on straight. Next item is consideration to approve the minutes for the August 4th, 2015 Commissioners meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Loper, second by Commissioner Floyd. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. All right. Next item, Effingham County Board of Commissioners special called emergency meeting of August 13, 2015. Any changes or corrections?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make note of the change brought to me by Commissioner Loper. Under the first paragraph, the Board of Commissioners of Effingham County, the day is noted as Tuesday. It should be changed to Thursday. And it says regular meeting, it should be changed to emergency meeting. So those are the changes in those minutes.
So emergency session?
Yes.
All right, so instead of regular session, it should be emergency session.
Yes, sir.
And Thursday, August 13th, rather than Tuesday. Any other corrections or changes? Motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the changes on the item 13.
With changing Tuesday to Thursday and changing regular to emergency session.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Kiefer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Next item, Effingham County Board of Commissioners special called emergency meeting of August 14, 2015.
Mr. Chairman, similar corrections on these minutes. Instead of Tuesday, it should say Friday, and change from regular session to emergency session.
Any other changes to be noted? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the Friday, August 14th emergency meeting with the noted change of changing Tuesday to Friday and regular session to emergency session.
Motion by Commissioner Kiefer, second by Commissioner Floyd. All in favor? Any opposed? So carried. Y'all hadn't picked up on it. We've been having a lot of meetings lately. All right. Appearance. All right. Should be noted, public comment should be limited to our agenda items only, and that correspondence from this meeting and our all meetings are located in the clerk's office and on the Board of Commissioners website. Consent agenda. We have one item. Item number 1, consideration to renew the agreement with eGPS Solutions for an eGPS base station. Motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kiefer, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. One item of old business is a contract. Consideration to approve to accept a bid and award a contract to Gov Planet LLC for 2015-2016 surplus vehicle auction service.
Good evening, Fiona Charlton, purchasing agent. Every year the county contracts for surplus vehicle auction services to ensure a set rate for the auction of any surplus vehicles. The last contract expired on June 30th, and as such a request for quote was issued and advertised in the usual places and sent to known auctioneers. 2 responses were received, one from Gov Planet LLC and one from Lane Brothers Auctioneers. The rates are shown on your staff reports. Staff determined that Gov Planet LLC offer the best solution for the auction of surplus vehicles, and as such a service contract was drawn up for them, which runs from July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2016. No funding is required, and as the contract has been reviewed and approved by the County Attorney, staff recommends Alternative 1, approval of Gov Planet LLC's quote and approval to issue a contract to them for 2015-16 surplus vehicle auction services. Any questions?
We got everything worked out now
Yes, sir.
after tabling this twice.
Yes, sir.
Questions from the board? Motion?
Make a motion to approve item number 1.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Loper, second by Commissioner Deloach. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Thank you.
All right. Got time to take care of some new business before our presentation. First item, consideration to approve a letter of support for a roundabout at State Route Highway 17 and Blue Jay Road.
Mr. Chairman, the Department of Transportation has identified the intersection of State Route 17 and Blue Jay as a candidate for a possible roundabout. They'd like to consider it for such. And the first step is indication roundabout support would be required from this board, obviously indicating your support for that. And then they would validate that as a feasible alternative from that point going forward. What you're agreeing to is to pay full and entire cost of electric energy used for lighting installed at the intersection and the maintenance costs associated with any landscaping installed inside of the roundabout as well. If the roundabout is selected as the preferred alternative, once GDOT studies this further, a formal local government lighting project agreement with the proposed cost would come forward at that time. And clearly those costs would be dependent on the amount of lighting that's in there, the design of which would dictate, and any cost of landscaping as such would be dictated by the amount of landscaping that goes in. That being said, I don't have a cost for you at this time. I don't know what it would be, nor do we know if the roundabout is the preferred alternative, if it's even chosen by GDOT. So with that, the staff would suggest that y'all authorize the chairman to sign that indication of roundabout support and send that back to GDOT.
Which will start a long, lengthy process.
Yes, sir.
This is just one option for that intersection, correct? They just look at.
Correct. GDOT's policy is that they first look for roundabouts before signalization on any intersection that they're looking at doing, other than stop control. That's the next step. So they will look at a roundabout and see if it's feasible. If it is, that will be their probably preferred alternative. If not, and if it does not work, then they will look at signalization.
Basically, explain to me this is the first step necessary to get to any direction of the
Well, that was a terrible area.
Yeah.
There's access, it's a safety issue, so.
It's good to have a starting point.
Correct. They'll start with a warrant analysis on a roundabout, and they'll go from there and see if it meets the needs based on traffic flows.
And we've approved a couple of these previous in other locations, so.
Correct.
Where do some of those stand? I cannot remember.
The one that you approved at what is now Old Augusta and 275, I believe they're working on the concept report for that out of the Jessup office, if I'm correct. The one at Blue Jay and McCall has kind of been put on hold because that's where we're looking to realign that intersection with the Parkway. We've actually asked them to take a look at moving that, if you will, up to Blue Jay and Midland. And they somewhat agreed to do it, but we had to do because it was programmed as a safety improvement, we had to mitigate the safety issue at Blue Jay and McCall first before they could actually kill, for lack of a better word, that project, before they could actually terminate it.
Any other questions? Motion?
I make a motion that we choose alternative one, authorize the chairman to sign the indication of roundabout support.
A second.
Motion by Commissioner Floyd, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor? Any opposed? So carried. Next item, consideration to approve clerk travel for continuing education. Where are you going, Stephanie?
We're going back to Athens, Mr. Chairman. Hopefully we're getting close. It takes about 3 years to get this completed the way that the sessions are set up. It's February and September with possible opportunities for courses in April at the annual conference in Savannah.
This is to obtain your clerk certification, correct?
Yes, ma'am. 101 hours are required for the certification.
A well-trained clerk is worth every bit of it.
Motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the expenditure for the training for our clerk.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Kiefer. All in favor? Any opposed? So carried. Next item, consideration to approve commissioner travel for the ACCG Legislative Leadership Conference in Jekyll Island.
Conference will begin on October 7th, wrapping up on Friday, October 9th. There is, as noted on your staff bargaining as well as the conference itself. I would like to make mention that the registration fee is $400, which includes 1 day of actual course training. If you opt for course training either on Wednesday or Friday, one of those days is an additional cost of $200.
I would say that since these hours are required for us to keep our certification, we look at whatever hours we still need to get to fill out the rest of this year's requirements. And whichever commissioners have to have those, they get those. Ones that, no, they don't.
Yeah, let us know where we stand on that, if you will.
Okay, will do. Can I get a possible on who's interested? You know, I know Commissioner Loper.
If I need hours, I'll go over the budget. I need more hours.
I'll go. You got hours.
Okay.
I
I really think that you all are fine.
You have to have 18 hours a year.
18 hours.
We don't have it.
You don't have your 18 yet?
I don't think any of us had 18 last year.
I'll double check. I'll double check.
You double check and let everybody know how many they've got to have, and then
The only thing that I have for this year is the Savannah.
Okay.
now I get one of those courses given to me
Yes, sir.
for going to
3
participate
hours.
in that.
Yes, sir.
All right, can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the travel expense for the commissioners that choose and let us meet their training for the ACTG conference.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Loper. All in favor? Any opposed?
Is that the one we appointed Commissioner Loper as a voting delegate?
That's right.
That is correct. All right. I know you'll find this hard to believe, but it's just a little bit after 5:15. And we're done with the business. Time for presentation. Sorry, we have a couple of minutes. That is a record. So you can come up and talk and help us celebrate our record. How about that?
I will try to keep it as brief as your business session was.
State your name for the record.
My name is Beverly Davis. I'm with RS&H, and I am the consultant that is helping the Coastal Region Metropolitan Planning Organization with their Metropolitan Transportation Plan update. We do have a brief presentation. Toss, if you wouldn't mind switching. One thing I do want to emphasize is we're not here asking for any action on your part. We're simply reaching out to let y'all know what the process is, what's going to be going on, and also to hopefully get any feedback from any members of the public after the meeting. Next slide. So the agenda is going to be, we'll give a brief overview of what a metropolitan planning organization is, what a metropolitan transportation plan is, the purpose of that metropolitan transportation plan, and the modification process that we're going through, and then our public and stakeholder participation process. I'll be here to answer any questions after it, and we'll be introducing a whole new set of acronyms, which I know is exactly what everybody needs. So metropolitan planning organizations, or MPOs, are required by federal law. They're implemented in the urbanized areas that have a population of 50,000 or more. Their purpose is to plan for the transportation within those areas, as well as in the adjacent areas where growth is expected to occur within the next 20 to 30 years. The MPO is responsible for allocating the federal transportation funds, and they do that through the development of plans and programs. The Coastal Region MPO, or the core MPO, is the MPO for the urbanized area. For years it has been confined to Chatham County, but with the recent growth it is expanding. It's taken in a few areas, very small area of Effingham County, as well as a small area of Bryan County, which encompasses the Richmond Hill, city of Richmond Hill. Toss. So these are the areas of the expansion. You can see in Effingham County the two little jut-ups up there that are adjacent to Chatham County, and Bryan County also encompassing Richmond Hill. Okay. Again, only a very small area of Effingham County is designated as part of the planning area and will be addressed within the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. And one key element is that the MPO's Metropolitan Transportation Plans are included by reference in the statewide transportation plan. There are three components to the MTP, or the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. The first is the vision plan, which really encompasses all of the needs, all of the projects. It's basically the wish list of the MPO, focusing on the long-range projects, and there is no financial constraint to that. The second portion is the cost feasible plan. That is financially feasible, cost constrained. You look at your project costs, balance that with your revenues, and figure out what you can afford to do, just like a household budget, basically. That's updated every 4 to 5 years as required by the federal regulations. And then the third portion is the Transportation Improvement Program. This is where the projects in the short term for 4 years actually have money allocated to a phase of the project within the work program. The new TIP projects, as one gets completed and it moves out, the new projects moving in for funding come out of the cost feasible plan. And again, these are in sync with the statewide transportation improvement program. So the purpose of the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, you have to have it to ensure the continuation and the continual flow of those federal dollars. The MTP must be consistent and compliant with all of the federal regulations addressing the federal planning requirements, those of which are shown depending on which way you're looking at it on the right-hand side. It does define the overall policies and programs as well as those projects to be implemented within that cost feasible time frame of 20-25 years. And it does include an outline of the overall goals, objectives, and strategies for the transportation planning process and for the MPO. So this MTP modification process, which is being to encompass the expanded areas. First of all, we're reviewing the existing plans, looking at the existing multimodal study for Effingham County as well as the Bryan County Transportation Study to identify those goals and objectives and the projects that were identified and contained within those plans. We'll be coordinating with local staff to get the GIS shapefiles to make sure that we have the accurate boundaries of the expansion area. We'll be looking at a financial analysis, again, pulling from the existing plans, identifying local sources, updating project costs. I think those plans were 2035. So we'll be updating the project costs and then developing a financially constrained list that will be incorporated into the 2040 Coastal Region MPO Metropolitan Transportation Plan. One key element is this will only focus on those areas that have been identified as part of the expanded region. One important component is the coordination and public participation that will be ongoing throughout the process, and this is really the first step in that. So that coordination, will be coordinating very closely with Toss and his staff as well as with elected officials. Of course, the ongoing coordination with the planning partners of GDOT and FHWA and the core MPO. The public participation, will be having public meetings and presentations. We do have a survey that's developed, both that will be online as well as a hard copy. On the project information sheet that you have, the link to the online survey is found on the back. We do have additional project information sheets with that link for any folks that would like to receive one after the meeting, and we also have hard copies of the survey if anybody wants to take it that way. So with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions. We certainly appreciate the time, and like I said, we're here to answer questions. We'll be available after the meeting also to provide more information to members of the public that so desire.
Who all needs to fill out the survey?
Anybody that's interested in transportation. Where? Anybody, yes sir.
Go to SurveyMonkey.
Go to SurveyMonkey. And I believe the link will be contained on the core MPO website also. SurveyMonkey is a good thing.
We've had some presentation to us in the past by staff, so we're basically familiar with it. As far as I have a lot of questions for you.
Well, good. It's always nice to talk to somebody who's familiar with the process.
And our meetings, you're still in meetings, and mine starts
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. And then again, we have additional information for anyone that's interested.
Thank
All right, thank you very much. All right. Staff reports. Why don't you go ahead and start?
You have your normal fire, senior citizens, animal shelter, and then there's a quarterly EMS. You only get those quarterly, the other 3 monthly. There's some information in there about a Section 398 non-point source implementation grant, if y'all want to read about that. Friends of Disabled Adults and Children, I guess, recently entered into a partnership with Coastal Regional Commission Area Agency on Aging. I have to take a breath to say all that, but and for the purpose of providing home medical equipment to area residents with disabilities, including seniors and caregivers, and there's some information there that tells you more about who those entities and agencies are and exactly what they do. There's a letter attached that came from the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office to our E911 Director, Mr. Spinks, expressing some gratitude for some recent assistance that we gave them. They suffered 2 back-to-back lightning strikes, and basically their equipment was fried. They had a backup, they put it in place, and 2 days later it hit again. So we were able to assist them to get going again. And then you have your monthly travel reports for the months of May through July. And then not on your sheet, I just got an email from Colin Kelvin talking about some of the driveway tie-ins on that road. And I told y'all they'd start this week, or Thursday's now the date that they're targeting. Greg, our new public works guys, met with the contractor today and basically gave them some direction on what he wanted to see and made it clear that what they had was not acceptable. And so Jason just sent an email, they're going to start on Thursday. So we'll see where that goes. They're supposed to be back on Thursday. And there are also, each of y'all should have some layouts in there for a new recreational facility. If y'all could, I can do it right this second, just, at some point, take a look at that. And obviously it's still in diagrammatic format here. The walking trails, the batting cages, the pavilions, all the smaller items are not yet shown on here. We're just mainly trying to get the placement from where the one, that's sitting over there. The changes that were made from that. If y'all are okay with it, I'm going to tell them to move forward. They're going to have something back by the 28th, so we can have it y'all in the same manner at your next meeting on the 1st. And if y'all are happy with it, then we'll send them on the schematic design, or if y'all want another formal presentation, it'll be y'all's decision at that point. But again, this is a rough layout. I just wanted to send it in the middle. So if y'all will take a look at that, give me some feedback, I'd like to get them started again. However way you want me. That's all I have.
Has the recreation board been provided with this as well?
I sent it to Clarence has it. Now, whether he's given it to the full board or not, I don't know the answer to that. But I know that Clarence has had it. He and I have talked about it. So again, I'm assuming he shared it with his whole board.
Is there a way that you can put the topo lines on this?
It's there. You may not be able to see it
They're
very
there.
well.
We're not allowed resolution.
They're on, yeah, black and white.
Okay.
They're ghosted.
Gotcha.
So this addresses the lower side we talked about last time. That's why we shifted that.
To some degree, it's not exactly what we talked about. Basically, the multi-purpose fields, they wanted them oriented north-south. Makes sense to me when we played into the sun. So where I had them spun back almost 90 degrees of that, they spun back around. Which caused some things to shift. But yes, it begins to help. And there's some things he shared where we just real high level in between the 2 baseball, stickball fields would be the batting cages. That's what would come in this area. This big area on the bottom right, he said was a dog park. That's a massive dog park, but it's area for something. The area by the gym where the pecan or pecan trees, whatever your flavor is, would be where the pavilions will be located beside the pond. That's the maintenance building now over here. Move our campground to the very bottom. I may try to rotate that up a little bit and rotate some things around, because there are some trees around that well, and I make them work around it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the RV campground being straight off the call, not incorporated. You know, it's like it's out there on its own.
And in the interim, we can put it where we always talk about, as long as we don't have a lot of money into it.
That's right.
You know, and wait on the fields to be constructed. And I did ask him soon the CAF file, because I was going to bid it up, and I can't. I can't argue too much what he's got.
Making progress.
So in general, if y'all are okay with this concept, we'll flesh it on out. That is their initial response to what we asked them to do.
I think we're dangerously close.
All these little circles are existing beacons.
Yes. Those are ones that he can save. Now, if you look really, really close, there's some other ones shown under there.
Right.
But those are the ones that can be worked around. That's correct.
Where's the big oak tree?
It's on the out parcels up top.
Okay, it's on the front.
Correct. It's well, it's kind of hard. Can you see the house on there?
Yeah.
It's the one looking up with north up to the left of the house, is the big, the one on the right, so you can hear it.
I got it.
So it's actually on those out parcels.
And for those of you who are interested, Stephanie reached out to the purchaser of the house, and they have stated that it will be moved this week.
That's what he said.
They were there today. I'm not getting through.
Well, it hasn't hurt us this far, so I mean, it's kind of a moot point, but it's going to get there.
Jack Garvin from Clio. Is there any chance of saving any of the big pecan? You gonna say
We
something?
say, well, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of them saved.
That's great. That is really great. The other thing is the dog park. And you know, I'm a dog lover. I own 2 of them. And my vet tells me that stay away from them. There's a breeding ground for things for. So please ask the vets around here what they think. Because I know Savannah's very big. But I tell you what, he says it's very dangerous. I don't know. You know,
That would be a good
my comment.
to get some input from veterinarians, because there's a lot of individuals that's expressed an interest for wanting to have it. So
I had not heard that before. So.
I hadn't either. That's the first time I've heard that. And we have enough problems with animal shelter. We don't need to create more. That was a wrong word. Not problems, opportunities.
We have opportunities, Chairman.
Sir?
So we have opportunities. That
We
is
have
true.
opportunities, that's correct.
Every day.
All right. Got anything else?
Yes.
Beth?
Yes, sir, very quickly. You do have this in your committee reports folder. There's a Freedom Fund and Honors Banquet on September 12th at 6 p.m. at PNBA Social Hall in Guyton. Was asked to extend this information to you. There's more details on the sheet in your folder. Also, just received today, for those of you who are attending the leadership conference, the IDA Board of Directors is having a special call meeting on Wednesday at 6 p.m. in the Butler Room at the King and Prince Hotel. Any of you are interested?
6 p.m.?
Yes, sir. On Wednesday.
Okay. That's tomorrow.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Anything else from any staff? Commissioner Floyd? Joe? Keith?
Good.
Floyd?
Roads is terribly grass on, just passing weeds and ditches.
On what?
On the right of way,
Oh,
Any certain ones? Did you notice?
all of
most all of them.
When's the next cut?
They were supposed to have started last week, I believe. If y'all will recall, when we shifted all of this, the information that we were told at the time is that we cut 3 times a year. It would now appear that wasn't accurate, that we probably cut more like 4 to 5 times a year. So the contract that we have with our provider is for 3 cuttings a year. They finished the first one, rather than just doing 3 cuts and then being done by this time and letting it continue to grow, we asked them to wait. They should be starting to mow again. They'll finish that cycle, and then they're ultimately going to finish the last one October, November, like we used to when the grass is going dormant. So next year and into the future, we'll have to make some decisions whether or not we increase the frequency of that mowing, or whether we look at going backwards and taking it back in the house. Or there's going to have to be some adjustments if the consensus is that we're not happy with the condition of the grass, because he's doing his job. I mean, he's cutting as much as we've asked him to cut.
He's fulfilling his contractual obligation.
Correct. It's not our consultant's fault at all, our contractor.
When's it time to take a look at that?
I believe it was 3 years, you remember? Top of your head? I'm pretty sure it was a 3-year contract.
We don't have to wait the whole three.
Now it's in there that we can increase it as much as we want. We'll cut it as many times as we want. There's a price per mile to cut it. It's just, it's a budgetary issue. It was budgeted in this current budget for the 3 cuttings. So y'all either have to allocate more money or to do something other than what we're doing to be a 3, and this will be the first of the 3 years.
We need to do something next year because this road is terrible. I mean, it needs cut more than 3 times.
And we can do that. It's just a matter of allocating the money to do it. It's, I believe, $174 a mile that he'll cut it. It would be that you need him to.
How much a mile?
I'm trying to remember. 610's total is a 300. That probably, so it's probably 300 to 400 miles.
That lane miles? No. So
Yeah. Well, no, center mile.
And that's all county maintained roads, right?
No, sir. That's all county maintained paved roads with right of ways. The ash roads are not included in that contract. Those are the ones that are cut with that boom axe, the mower with a big arm off the side of it, because they can't get a rotary mower through those ditches that are pulled with motor graders. So those are not in the contract.
Well, those need cutting too.
I understand.
And I know we got, I know we got a new fellow over it, and so we gave him time to get all this situated.
Yes, sir.
But whatever the contract price is, and you divide it by 3, I'm assuming that's what it costs us each time we do a cut.
That's correct.
So whatever that amount is, it would help us to know what that amount is and how many times we need to add. We could consider that about the budget.
It's broken out for our cutting. I can get you that as soon as I get to it.
Or we may need to look at what the state has done, go to doing some type of a spray.
We looked at it briefly. It seemed like the cost was about the same, because you have to buy the apparatus to do it. You have to get somebody to spray it, then you have to deal with when they go by a cotton field and kill half the field. You know, it's just, there's issues with that too.
But isn't it true the state was doing 3 times a year and then they cut back twice?
They had, not to be honest, I think they increased that again, but I don't know.
One time
They almost quit it at one time.
Yeah.
But I think they added a few more back. They found
So
some
they're
more.
like at $15 million every time they cut. We're not quite that big. All right. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Any other? All right, do we need executive session?
I just had a couple of things, but I think they can wait considering the executive sessions we had last week. I think we're fine waiting until the next meeting.
Ross, you good?
I'm good, yes, sir.
Nothing else? Somebody give me a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion and a second. All in favor, did you get it?
I got it.
All in favor? None opposed, we stand adjourned at short.
We definitely got to be able to do records. And Lee, by the way, we can also, we're trying to help people at training told us that they want a whole year with no experience. We don't need them. If you want to do it, we want to do it. But we put in a habit of having it after every meeting, it's not necessary.
And for the record, y'all understand, the planning board had no presentment, so we did not have to be here at 7 o'clock. We understand.
Oh, mercy. That's
They do, they're already.
And it was, Nikki's not
I wanted to ask you, either one of them, I don't know, but you're just about your mind.
Is he ever on the honey ring that they have there? We go right up.
Okay.
Yeah, Honey Ridge, across the street from Honey Ridge is Jamie's, this side is ours.
What's his name?
We just need to sell it.
And he's
He's the president of the new formed or reformed or
Is that his
Well, it was,
Just at the Metropolitan City Commission on Saturday. You know, they're trying to keep
oh my goodness.
they don't expect
I always go to breakfast.
Your chairman has a seat on the board now.
I go to all those meetings. I don't recommend that. I know most everybody. But usually they recognize. I know they usually recognize. They usually recognize everybody.
You guys said you want me to sign tonight?
I just don't get
I'll come up here about 11 o'clock.
And that was called tonight.
That's
fine.
somebody.
Available, I don't mind.
He's waiting on you to connect.
Yeah.
If anything comes up, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I any water. Okay. So that was in my job.
Oh, no drinks. Chairman, do you need one?
No, I got teeth in
It's six.
Never happened. Yes, question was from your perspective.
It's not motivated by it's actually just motivated by
Well, you
all they asked us to do was
Right. Right, and then like you said, is that the first step? Their policy. Couple steps to your right there. I'm sorry.
Good. How are you all?
That's true.
We've never done that
Yeah, as far as they're concerned.
Probably not a big effect in county right now. Still the same, they're saying about
So at this point, I think I alluded to, at this stage, is he as far as dress? George 17, is that mistake?
We have
At least, so in your opinion, will be the roundabout in the community, major cities, as far as roundabout civilization. And as far as, I guess, the time from here, are we pretty to how long this can take, or is that? But, like you mentioned, one way or the other, something needs to be done, so this is a positive step.
maybe we've got enough,
Anything like this?
Well, once y'all have lunch,
Thank you, appreciate it.
the other which one?
Yes, like you said, at this point, it's their input. I mean, as far as making a decision out, is it, since it does intersect with Blue Jay, is there, what's the logistics there? I mean, I know people sometimes get confused, like, whose decision is it at the end of the day? I mean, we're a couple times, but in regards to this particular issue, as the engineer, kind of that was your title, I suppose. So as we've said with this issue with the roundabout there, the intersection, can you maybe help us clarify at least procedural steps here? It's a state road and a county road that are intersecting, right?
It's a Georgia Department of Transportation project. Based on this letter's report, they will do a feasibility analysis, they will warrant studies for the the warrants, get a policy is to look at roundabout prior to signalization. So that's roundabout, they will go forward with that particular alternative. There's a concept report that will be done. From that concept report, it'll have to end up in the state, it'll have to be programmed to the project, but we funding certified, and someone, he said that's how it's all around.
Sure. And the purpose, I guess, today, this was to have the county commission kind of give their voice of approval to say this is what they want to do for considering roundabout, and that giving a blessing or opinion from the county commission today, right? Even though it's not that, so that's kind of today was. What I've always thought
and also they reach
we went through today. So now, GDOT taking this from here, you mentioned that signalization is a possibility, but they kind of prefer to considering a roundabout first. I mean, is there a potential for that? If they
roundabout doesn't, if it fails, if you're going to do the warrant analysis, if it can't move the traffic through properly, it doesn't more safely, then they will consider
yeah, the first and foremost, they're going to see this roundabout works. That's what they're going to go.
Well, if it works, they will come back with a letter of governmental lighting agreements, and again, there's many steps in this process, but if it does meet the analysis and it does become the preferred alternative, yes, that will be more likely to go forward.
Now, I know it's kind of hard to answer, but as far as the timeline, because it all depends, right? As far as how long something like this could take, because it has so many steps here, right?
Correct. And even also the building, and it is funding especially trained, so I don't know if we're staying time. It would be up to them to deliver the project.
And it is state funded, and again, because it's a state road going through there, I mean, that automatically makes this go to them. There's no, I mean, outside of this kind of asking input from the local government, I mean, everything just takes care of from them, right? I mean, because of the state road involvement.
Correct. It would be improving on the state route. Yes, they would fund that more than likely. Again, a lot of times what we will do is we'll fund the engineering or the right-of-way acquisition, and all of that again will be hashed out later on in the process when we create a project framework agreement with to deliver the project. Several of the ones that we're doing now, our agreement so that we handle the county, the locals pay for the right-of-way and the engineering design.
Yeah.
And then the Department of Transportation does construction. What the particular arrangement of this one will be, we will know too.
And lastly, just from your experience, any just rough estimation based on your experience of how long a project like this could take? Of course, it depends on this particular instance.
Right. There's the one that's farthest along this county, State Route 17 and State Route 119 guidance. They had the preliminary field plan review, so they're getting close to actually letting the project, and I believe it's been ongoing for 2 to 4 years. So it's a 2 to 5 year process.
Yeah, so I figured people ask, is this like a 6-month thing, 10-year thing?
It's not a 6-month thing, yeah. And hopefully it's not 10 years, but it's probably 2 to 5 years.
Anything we missed that you wanted to add? Yes. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks.
What you been doing?
Text your wife.
We'll just see what a couple weeks.
She would
Or-
love to.
Jeannie wants me to go, but she wants me to go. She said, I want you to go back, go back.
Junior just told me to on this, right? Video and sent it to her. Told she went up to school board tonight.
We're all going. We're just glad it's somebody other than us.
We'll see, I'm being summoned to baseball practice now.
You need to be with family, though.
Oh, is your little boy playing baseball?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
All right, well, I'm gonna go to the restroom and go